Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Today we're going to talk about the fallout of the coin IPO direct listing and how it affects a couple of other different crypto stocks that we'll consider buying. We also have 7 different stocks that we're going to be looking at today, 7 stock picks for actually this morning. We're also going to talk about the bank stocks, bank stock earnings, and the follow through that we're looking for on that. A couple of them had decent earnings yesterday, but followed through pretty well. And I think 4 more this morning. We'll run through that list in a minute. So let's head on over to the charts and let's take a look at some new ideas. We also have some Cathie news today that you're going to be interested in hearing. So we're going to wait. Where's my mouse? I lost the mouse. All right. So let's head on over. First, we got to do this with the disclaimer. All right, so we're going to start out with coin. We actually yesterday morning discussed coin. We actually said that coin, stay away from it unless you actually are really good at making fast decisions. Now, yesterday we were talking about it in the context of day trading coin stock. Look, these kind of moves are fast. These kinds of moves can be expensive if you can't make fast decisions. And you can see that they kind of hosed everybody right out of the gate. You either bought right away and sold right away, or it just kept moving in your face later and later and later and later as the day rolled on. It was exciting to watch. It was fun to watch. Now we'll let it settle in a little bit and see if we have some pockets of opportunity where the size of the bid-ask spread is actually a little bit more reasonable. And again, just as a quick trading lesson, something we talk about all the time is liquidity in stocks. We're always looking for 2 things. We're looking for liquidity and opportunity. Liquidity means that there's smart money support, there's institutional support, there's reliable bids and offers in that stock, reliable trading opportunities in that stock. And here's the big thing. A lot of traders don't consider this. Liquidity gives you a certain amount of confidence that you can reasonably get out where you want to. So if you have to market out of a stock, or even if you want to use a limit order to get out of a stock, you can rely on the fact that there's going to be quotes at every level, or pretty much every level. When a stock is less liquid and doesn't trade that many shares per day, or new like this and a little bit more volatile, the difference between the bid and the ask widens, which actually increases the cost of getting out of that trade if you have to actively get out of that trade. So if you can write that down, there's 2 things we're always looking for: liquidity and then opportunity. And the opportunity side is when we do our scans, we're looking for a minimum average true range of $1.50. So when we're talking about the coin stock yesterday, the spreads were reasonable for an active trader, but they were moving fast. And for a newer trader, it was probably something that was fun to watch, but maybe not necessarily something you should trade. So how does that affect what we're going to be looking at today? Well, this is actually pretty interesting news. Cathie actually, ARK, bought 750,000 shares of Coinbase yesterday. Obviously, she's the disruptive queen, right? And sells her shares of Tesla. So this is actually a key point too that I want to get across. And we have one guy in our room, in our community, in our boot camp, Riaz, who does a really good job of expressing this. And it's really the mindset of a professional trader. And Cathie Wood's kind of an example of that right now. So I just want to give a quick lesson. And it really comes down to, when you're actively trading and you have that capital, you're really looking for, I want it to move now. I want it to move now. It's not investing. You're looking for the next move, and then you're looking for a pause to get out, and then you're looking for the next move. So when Raya says during the day, I'm getting out of that trade, I'm getting working capital back. I'm getting out of that trade, I'm getting working capital back. And that's the way professional traders think. Even if you take a loss, you're like, all right, big deal. I'm back in cash and I'm going to look for the next trade. That's what's going on there. And it's pretty interesting that she's leaving Tesla and going over to the other one. So she sees that as getting back cash and going back to the other trade. Now, obviously, she's not worried about cash right now, but I'm really using this more as a lesson for us as the average everyday active trader. Have that mindset. Don't let yourself get stuck in a position that is not working or maybe moving against you when you see something else and it's, there it is. That's the one we're looking for. By the way, we're actually going to show you one entry in a day trading opportunity yesterday where it had earnings yesterday. The stock kind of opened up flat, gave us a buy signal exactly where you would want it, and the stock just took off. So we're going to take a look at that. Something else that's pretty interesting on the news front today is this: U.S. sanctions Russia again over alleged election interference and hacking. You would think that something like that might have some sort of negative effect on the market this morning, but the futures are actually up big again. We're waiting on initial claims this morning, excuse me, as well as some earnings. So we're going to actually follow up on yesterday, where some earnings came out yesterday. JPMorgan, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs. We're going to take a look at them. I'm going to shoot over to the daily chart. So Goldman Sachs, excuse me, we actually mentioned that don't short a quiet market. It actually rallied through the trading range, pulled back when the rest of the market pulled back a little bit, but we're looking for follow through here out of the gate as well. Citigroup opened lower. You can see that we've been drawing this longer term pennant for a while. We're looking for it to get out of that range. Wells Fargo, excuse me, is the interesting one. And you can see it actually, the initial reaction was lower, but this is really where you really need to be on top of your game as a day trader. It opened lower. The news was good. The earnings were good and actually rallied slightly prior week heading into earnings. And if you're day trading, that was the opportunity right there. And you can see there's the optimal entry. Just an amazing, amazing opportunity. Some other stocks that we're going to take a look at today that we're looking for more follow through. So again, sticking with the bank stock earnings, we're going to be looking at Bank of America today, which is scheduled to report pre-market. I'm not sure if it did or not, as well as Citigroup. And it looks like Citigroup might have, and USB after the market closes today. So those are the bank stocks that we're going to be watching. We're looking for follow through today in Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, and JPMorgan, and then looking for new buying in Bank of America and Citigroup stocks. TSM has earnings before the market today, as well as UNH. UNH is actually a pretty interesting setup. We got long in a swing trade over here, took a flat on it, just kind of melted back down, but quickly came back, and now we're seeing it pausing at or near new breakout levels. So there's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on today too. We talked about coin and how that's going to affect some crypto stocks. So we're going to take a look at RIOT and Mara. RIOT's actually been in a trading range for a while. We have this giant pennant that we're waiting for it to break out of, but I just want to bring in the key moving averages that pretty much everybody watches, right? So RIOT right now is actually sitting at 50-period moving average support. It's a big level that everybody watches. Just to give you some context, you can see here what the 50 did to the SPY. It was actually a launching pad once, twice, and now you can see RIOT is actually sitting now. The big difference, though, is that at that point, the market itself was actually in a much more solid uptrend. Order flow, bullish order flow is obvious. That's not the case here, but you need to watch. So we're watching today in RIOT as well as Mara. Mara is a little bit different. So these crypto stocks are in play for us today, despite the fact that they had this giant red candle yesterday coming off of the let's call it echo of what was going on with coin. I am looking for a spot to get long today. I am looking for a spot, and mostly in RIOT. We're going to take RIOT and Mara, pick them apart. I'm looking for it to hold support or maybe trade just below that, reverse, and get a snapback entry. Mara, actually, I was actually looking for it to open lower today, and I'll show you why. It's kind of hovering right here at the 20. If it holds the 20 and yesterday's low, that's fine. It's opening flat. But I actually was looking for one more flush down into that 39 area. If we get that flush down to the 39 area, that will almost be a 30% retracement off of the all-time highs. Maybe I'm going to hold here, which was the previous breakout level. I don't know. We'll see. But that's the game plan for those stocks today. We do have a sector that I want to point out, which is the energy sector. And let me actually go straight over to the charts. And these stocks are not lining up perfectly. However, they did have a really good day. And I could see that they were on fire for a while. A lot of these stocks were super strong and super obvious from November through, let's say, the end of March. And I think FANG as well meets that criteria. FANG was one that we were trading pretty reliably. And now they're looking like they're going to break this 2 or 3 week downtrend where they kind of went into a pause. CPE matches that criteria as well. You can see the breakout level that we have. So what we're noticing, what we're paying attention to right now is something is changing. That's really the big thing. Big volume, big move out, possibly breaking this 2 or 3 week downtrend. And this is how, it's interesting. We get a ton of questions about what is the optimal entry? How do I find the optimal entry? Why am I always buying too late? This type of game planning from one day to the next, even if you're not trading these stocks today, they might be a day trade today. They're setting up possible swing trades and looking to get long again, which then again, thinking things through, really thinking like a trader. If energy stocks rally, what does that mean to airlines? What does that mean to cruise lines? This type of putting the pieces together, you got a trading strategy into a trading plan, into a trading game plan. You start to formulate your game plan, and some of those ideas are for today. Some of the ideas go into your watch list, and you set alerts. And that's what makes you something special as a trader, because every day you know exactly what you plan to do. Every week you know exactly what you plan to do. You're not one of those amateurs who's just chasing every alert that's out there. You know what you're looking for, and if it's there, you go get it. If it's not, you just sit back and just sit back and have some coffee, and you wait for good entries in the stocks that you plan to trade. It's when you're all over the place and chasing anything that moves. That's when trading is exhausting. And look, I got plenty of gray hair. I don't want it to be exhausting anymore. I want my trading to be relaxing, and that is planning. So we're noticing the energy stocks are perking up a little bit. Doesn't mean we're necessarily putting on long positions, but you're ahead of the curve now because you did the research. Every day when you do your game planning, that's like going on a treasure hunt. And again, some stocks you'll hear me say those are going into the game plan today. Some stocks are going into the watch list, and you set alerts. So make that distinction between the two: watch list versus game plan. Game plan is for today or this week. Watch list is if it gets to a certain price or certain price action happens, your alert triggers and you're ready. That's what separates somebody who's struggling as a chart reader in the stock market from somebody who is on top of their game and reliably making money. Oh, by the way, if you could do me a favor, click down, give us a thumbs up if you find these videos helpful. I'd really appreciate it. And the more thumbs up we get and the more comments, quite honestly, I know that that's the kind of content that you want. So we'll keep doing that as well. So we're going to hop into 7 other stocks that we're watching today, and we'll head right on over to the chart. So we talked about Goldman Sachs already, so we want to see some follow through there. 2 stocks that are pretty interesting. Allstate, we actually called out yesterday. We're looking for some follow through again today. And again, from doing our research, Prudential popped into the list, and we're seeing we got a nice breakout there as well. And again, keeping with the financial theme, Capital One popped through there as well. Honeywell kept popping up into my list yesterday. What's interesting about this is we finally got out of this, let's say 5 or 6 months worth of consolidation or noise, whatever you want to call it, bullish gap and a pause. That's a really good, clean move right there. Another stock that I haven't traded in a while is NTAP Network. Oh my God, I'm starting. NTAP actually finally got above 74 after all of these melted candles, after all of that indecision. So that's looking good there as well. Another stock that's pretty interesting is RIOT. RIOT actually now broke this downtrend, bullish gap, bullish gap, bullish gap. So again, when you do your game planning, this is when you start to notice things that just other traders don't, who are lazy. And I know you're watching this video because you're a hard worker. So get in there and pay attention to these kind of things. Downtrend, bullish gap, above the 20, now testing the 50. A little bit going on there, so pay attention to RIOT today. So there's a lot going on. We have a lot of earnings today before the market, as I said. Initial claims today as well. TSM, UNH, Bank of America, and Citigroup scheduled before the market today. Pepsi, BLK, BlackRock, scheduled after hours. And Pepsi, BLK, and USB pre-market, and Alcoa was scheduled after hours today too. And actually, let's take a look at the chart of Alcoa, because that actually has rallied for a few days. And you can see here 1, 2 days and actually broke out. So we're looking for some follow through in Alcoa here today as well. So I would absolutely go in there and think about what I just said about prepping your game plan and doing your homework. It is a treasure hunt. So if you have a game plan, watch list, and alerts, start doing that, and you'll find that trading becomes a lot less stressful. By the way, if you want to watch my swing trading course, we have a special opportunity for you to get involved. $3 to watch the entire course for 3 days. It's called Foundation in Swing Trading. If you want to watch it, click the link below the video, and I think you'll be really, really happy with the information in there. It could be life-changing for the right person. Have a great day, everybody. I'll speak to you soon.